Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. This morning, Hanafi, would like to explore a little bit about Manchasan village of Yogyakarta, where I'm living now at the moment. And yeah, this area is one of the very nice small environment that we have in the village, because here you can see there is a small river. And even now we have been about 3 months in our heavy dry season, but still this river still gets the water, and the water keep flowing down. And even this water is not that clean, because this is not very plain, because most of the water usually coming from the rice field when we have the rainy season. But if you try to have a look, the color of this water in the river, it is exactly a dark brown in color, because it has been influenced by the humus, by the canopy of this environment, because anyway this area is also still covered by the canopy, because we have got quite a lot of bamboos, we've got quite a lot of mahogany, and also a teak wood here. So, ladies and gentlemen, and if you look at this environment, you can have a look that we are also quite free from plastic, as the plastic is also one of the very big enemy of the environment all over the world, because this plastic always spoil the existence of our nature anyway. But in this area we have no plastic at all, and this is also a very interesting style of life of our local people here in this environment, because the local people keep being so disciplined to protect the environment from the spoil of the plastic or any other natural spoil, So this is what we have here at the moment. And the local people here are also quite disciplined, because they keep controlling their environment. Like for example, we are not allowed to hunt even any single birds in this environment, and there is a lot of there is a lot of warning given by the local region, the local government, regional government of Ambar Ketawang here, that hunting is absolutely prohibited in order to protect the natural environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the flowing water down there sound quite fresh for our soul anyway, and these kinds of moment is mostly I like best in every single moments of my life, because I was formerly born deep in the village, and now when I've been back to my old age, I would like to get back to my childhood time, where I would like to get much closer to the village. So that is why even now I've been living in the other island, I just try to look for the environment just like what I've got once in my childhood time. So the village where I'm living now is also one of my best choice at the moment, and even now the island of Java is quite crowded, but still we've got these kinds of a typical tropical small river where we can have also here, for example, the bamboos, the tropical bamboos. Yeah, this is the bamboos, and this is a very unique tropical plant also. You know, before the bamboos get its maximum height, this typical tropical plant grows so fast. You can't imagine the bamboo will be growing between 3 to 6 centimeters a day, before it reaches the maximum height. So, and here, the bamboos all it grows by the riverbank, because between the bamboos and the riverbank is a kind of a very natural, compactly built sectors. When there is a lot of bamboos along the riverbank, then it means the erosion could be prevented. Ladies and gentlemen, those up there are some of the bamboos, bunches of bamboos keep growing along the riverbank here, and this should be a very good combination, a very good natural combination. And also you can have a look here by the riverbank. There should be a lot of fallen leaves of the bamboos, and when they have been quite dried, then of course it should be the canopy of this riverbank, and it's quite good to keep this environment to be so fertile to be grown for any kinds of plant, because these dried bamboo leaves much later will be the humus of this environment. Ladies and gentlemen, above and much later in front of us totally, they are all kinds of wood which are called sangon wood. And sangon wood is also a very fast and a very rapid productive types of local Javanese wood in the island of Java. And sangon is quite popular as one of the cheaper material for making the mebel or making the furnitures. And sometimes when the teak wood or the teak holes is quite expensive to be used, then the local users will try to combine between sangon wood and also teak wood whenever they would like to have when they would like to make a cheaper price of the furnitures. Because when they would like to make 100% from teak hole or teak wood, and of course the price of this mebel or the furnitures much more expensive. So that is why sangon wood is one of the alternative in the island of Java when we would like to have a cheaper price of furnitures. Exactly very peaceful types of environment that we have here in the village. See, we still have bamboos at the riverside, and beneath the bamboo trees, then we can have a look. The fallen leaves of any kinds of trees like teak wood, bamboos, and also this is very important to be the canopy of the earth to control the existence of our environment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beneath parch area of bamboo bunches, bamboo trees, and usually in this kinds of condition, extra careful should be given to anybody or anyone who would like to pass through these bamboo bunches, because sometimes you're going to meet a cobra snake, because they like being here since the humidity is quite high here, and this is a good place and it's a good atmosphere for them to enjoy their sleep. So usually in every kampong in Indonesia especially, the children, they have been naturally given, they have been naturally understood. Anytime they are passing through the bamboos, bunches like this, they must be very careful, because anytime they meet the cobra snake, and this snake is quite aggressive, and sometimes this cobra snake will be trying to attack their enemy at once. These are some of the teak wood grow by the roadside, and this is a very typical in every kampong or villages found in Yogyakarta area or in the island of Java. Teak wood, sangon wood, is quite familiar to be found, because the island of Java is a very ideal atmosphere and altitude for those who would like to grow the teak wood, or the local people used to call them as kayu jati or pohon jati. Keep clean. Dilarang membuang sampah di sekitar tempat ini. This is the warning or a plan given by our local authority in the kampong to prevent anybody or anyone who keep throwing out their trash anywhere, just like it was to be previously. But now, in the next decade, starting from the last decade up to now, these kinds of plan or warning given everywhere by our local authority in my kampong. So it means now that nearly most of our population in the kampong, we have been quite disciplined to keep our environment clean all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, here is some of our rice field, or sawah, as the local call it in Indonesian language. And at this moment, this rice is starting bearing a fruit. They've been quite young, and usually when the rice have been starting to bear fruit, there should be a groups of birds will be coming down in order to choose their favorite food. It means those small birds will be starting to enjoy the farmer's rice as well. So that is why when the rice is start being ripe later on, the local farmers will be covering this rice field by using net in order to avoid the attack of the local birds. Ladies and gentlemen, at these spots of rice field, we can have a look at the rice have been starting to be yellow in color. It means the paddy or the rice is starting to ripe. And in front of us, you can have a look. There is some lines, and this line is covered by many plastics. And sometimes they give also some cloth there. And this tool is used by the farmers, by the local farmers, as the scarecrow. And by having these kinds of scarecrows, then the farmers can minimize their rice to be fed by the bondo birds or the pipit bird This is the local birds who like going down and feeding up themselves when the rice has been starting being ripe then. The plant downside here, they are called Caladium arten. This is a kind of caladi. And next plant, this is tapioca, or sometimes they call them maniok. And for us in Indonesia, the young leaves of this tapioca sometimes can be consumed as one of our vegetables at home. Ladies and gentlemen, the plant here is called citronengras. Citronengras, or the local people call them serai. And this citronengras smell very, very aromatic, and sometimes we like putting them in our gulai saucer. This is the typical local food, usually made by our mothers, our wives at home, anytime they would like to cook for their families at home. And in order to make their gulai or their saucer would be much more aromatic, and then sometimes they are going to cut some of this citronengras and they're going to put it into their gulai, and it should be very, very aromatic. Yeah, this is the citronengras. Ladies and gentlemen, at this part of the area, our local farmers have been starting to have their harvest time, and now this is the time for them to harvest their rice from the rice field. And now this time the local farmers have been working much faster than it used to be, because formerly when we would like to have these kinds of harvest time, usually will be made by hand, you know. So it means we didn't have any machine real time, but today the local farmers have been using these kinds of small modern machines, so they can work much faster. And this is the rice which have been harvested, and when the rice has been separated out from their bunch, and then they are going to be dried until it is absolutely dried, and after being dried totally, then this dried rice will be sent to the factories, and this factory with rice, this rice will be making the real nasi, or the real rice. And by the local people, for the local people in Indonesia, this is called paddy. So when the paddy has been separated from the cell, and then it changed to be white in color, and this is what we call it beras. And after this beras has been cooked, and they are going to be called rice or nasi. So in Indonesian language there should be some terms of mentioning rice as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my coverage for today. I hope this coverage will be useful for any of you. At least you've got the additional information, and then it should be the addition of your knowledge. And yeah, at the moment in front of us, this is also the other parts of our rice field in our kampung, in our village. And in this part, the rice had been started being ripe. The color is starting to be yellow in color, and I think a few months later this should be totally harvested by the owners of this sawah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the report today. I hope you like it very much, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next coming opportunity. Bye bye. Hanafi.